far as making a decision that I will run, or knowing that at some future time in the history of the United States I'm going to run for president, I don't. I mean, quite frankly, I don't. Just because I don't think that you can plan for the future at all. So I don't do it.
Well, of course, everybody has that, everybody knows that it'll all come to an end, but you can't plan your life that way.
Well,
you have to assume you do.
Yeah.
The question was, how about President Johnson and me? What about it? What are you trying to start a fight or something? Look, I said that in the past that I thought it was possible to have a coalition government in Saigon, but that doesn't mean it's possible here in the United States.
In the hall, and I overheard Bobby say to his father and mother, "I'm going to run for the presidency." And there was not like this when he was running for the Senate. There was complete silence. And I looked at Mr. Kennedy, and he just dropped his head down in his chest. Bobby says, "It's going to be all right." He said, "It's going to be all right."
I am announcing today my candidacy for the presidency of the United States. I do not run for the presidency merely to oppose any man, but to propose new policy. I run because I am convinced that this country is on a perilous course, and because I have such strong feelings about what must be done, and I feel that I'm obliged to do all that I can. I run to seek new policies. Policies to end the bloodshed in Vietnam and in our cities. Policies to close the gaps that now exist between black and white, between rich and poor, between young and old, in this country and around the rest of the world.
A political campaign is a dehumanizing ritual. Its only purpose is power and tends to bring out the worst in people. Sleep and privacy are elusive, and each day brings some new temptation to compromise a little. Take, for example, the offer from a Teamster official of a large cash contribution in return for going easy on Kennedy's old nemesis, Jimmy Hoffa.
During one of the times, one of the days that I was out there fairly earlier in the campaign, there was this member of the Teamsters that came down and who had been a great strong supporter of Jimmy Hoffa. Jimmy Hoffa had been in jail now. And you wanted to know if the Bureau of Prisons had recommended, after Bob was president, that they go easy on Hoffa. Would he agree not to override the Bureau of Prisons on that? I thought it was rather strange. I said, that's a long ways down the road, and now is the Bureau of Prisons going to come on up with this kind of recommendation? Didn't see it. But evidently he knew something that we didn't know.
The Teamster said that Richard Nixon had already accepted the cash in return for leniency for Hoffa. Would Robert Kennedy do the same?
And I mentioned it to Bobby, and he said, "You tell so-and-so," he knew the person, "that if I get elected president, that not only is Hoffa not going to get out of jail, but there are going to be a lot more of them in jail." What else is going on today, Teddy?
People speculate in gold, a primary metal, and some people just go around speculating in primaries. The press asked for my reaction to the recent activities of the senator from New York. And I don't want to tell you all of my reaction this morning.
And people were, I'd never seen such hope before or since. In people's faces. There was an amazing spirit of hopefulness.
I saw how he was drawing crowds. I saw that he was a figure of adulation. Somehow he stirred in people things that hadn't been stirred even with his brother. And Gene McCarthy could never do that.
don't know what I was thinking about that time, whether that was sort of the normal reaction to a politician, because you don't see that today. You know, I've been doing political campaigns now basically all my life, and I just don't see it. Maybe that happened before my father. It's almost impossible to think of it happening with a politician today.
When Senator Kennedy began campaigning in California in March, reporters were astonished by the reaction of crowds here. Those of us who had covered his late brother never encountered similar responses to John F. Kennedy until the last week of the 1960 campaign.
As you might have read, I've been involved in some of my own activities over the period of the last week, and I want to be able to report to my fellow Democrats that there's a very warm feeling sweeping the United States on behalf of my candidacy. Governor Maddox said he'd rather have Fidel Castro, for instance. So you're touched every once in a while, but I feel I am making progress with the White House and with the President. I went to see him, and we talked about pacification, we talked about a ceasefire, we talked about ending the struggle, and it was a nice conversation, and he told me if I came back the next week we might talk about Vietnam.
I don't want to be part of the United States. I don't want to be part of the American people and have them write of us as they wrote of Rome. They made a desert and they called it peace.
The communists in Vietnam are watching the New Hampshire primary. They're watching to see if we, here at home, have the same determination as our soldiers, Navy men and Marines who are fighting in Vietnam. Don't vote for fuzzy thinking and surrender. Support our fighting men.
There will be many dark moments. There'll be many long nights. And the words of a great, eloquent, trustee and protector of ours of another day. There will be blood, and there will be sweat, and there will be tears. But the principles that brought this nation into existence, the traditions which have guided us, the things in which we believe, the strength that we have, are going to be used to protect the weak and to lift up the helpless and to see that might doesn't make right in this world because aggressors start to march across any part of it.
We're going in there and we're killing South Vietnamese, we're killing children, we're killing women, we're killing innocent people because we don't want to have the war fought on American soil, or because they are 12,000 miles away and they might get to be 11,000 miles away. I very seriously question whether we have that right. Those of us who stay here in the United States, we must feel it. When we use napalm and when a village is destroyed, the civilians are killed, this is also our responsibility. I stand with those who want a new effort to end the war in Vietnam and begin the long journey toward peace. We dropped more bombs on North Vietnam and South Vietnam than we dropped in Germany during the whole Second World War. Who else? What else can you bomb? Who else can you kill? The commander of Ben Tre said, I had to destroy this village in order to save it. 38,000 people. I'm not blaming him, but I'm blaming me, and I'm blaming you. We are the American people, and we permitted that.
In 1963, the people in the Plattsburgh area paid $12 million, taxes, schools.
There will be some nervous Nellies, and some who will become frustrated and bothered and break ranks under the strain. And some will turn on their leaders and on their country and on our own fighting men.
If my opponent had his way, stop it. Go ahead. Tell me. If my opponent had his way, your work area... Now let me see. If I wonder if I need your help and support.
I have a coalition government in Saigon, but that doesn't mean it's possible here in the United States.
In the hall, and I overheard Bobby say to his father and mother, "I'm going to run for the presidency." And there was no...
What are you trying to start a fight or something? Look, I said that in the past that I thought it was possible to...
Not like this when he was running for the Senate. There was complete silence. And I looked at Mr. Kennedy, and he just dropped his head down in his chest. Bobby says, "It's going to be all right." He said, "It's going to be all right."
I am as far as making a decision that I will run, or knowing that at some future time in the history of the United States I'm going to run for president, I don't. I mean, quite frankly, I don't. Just because I don't think that you can plan for the future at all. So I don't do it.
Well, of course, everybody has that, everybody knows that it'll all come to an end, but you can't plan your life that way.
Well,
you have to assume you do.
Yeah.
The question was, how about President Johnson and me? What about it?